Tonight we have the annual report from Heart of the Arts for the development and operations of the 1912 Center. And with that, I'll turn it over to their executive director, Jenny Kostroff. And here she is.
Hi, Jenny.
Right, hello. So I decided, since I was coming in after so many words on the screen, that tonight I would give you a story in pictures of the 1912 Center's past year. But first, I should introduce you to our mission. And included in this is a picture of me 10 years ago in the, let's see, I'm trying to figure out where my little button is. Which one's the one that does, ooh, pointer, ooh, gosh. Okay, so 10 years ago, I was given the key to operate the 1912 Center. It's a very big key, but this picture is of the 1912 Center facility at the time it was handed to me, just so you have a good recollection of what it might have looked like on the western side of the building.
Is that all plywood up there, Jenny?
There was some plywood. Some quality plywood. It still exists. We've got it, and we're using it upstairs to do different things, to walk over mostly. But Heart of the Arts, the company that I run, is tasked with renovating and restoring the 1912 Center using arts and culture as the focus. So May 1st, Dwight will have put up with me for 10 years. Actually, now you've put up with me for 10 years. May 1st, we will have operated the building for 10 years. Which is very exciting. This year, our slate of officers, Dave Harlan is our president, Duncan Palmatier, our vice president, Linda Paul serving as secretary, and Mary Packer as our treasurer. And then our directors, we have, we have a total of 12 board of directors. Ben Eamon, Nancy Cheney, Dave Herbold, Sandra Kelly, Jay Pengilly, and then Melissa Rockwood, Bill Terrio, and Mary Beth Stabin are serving with us on our board this year, which is very exciting. Mary Beth plans to do some Skype board meetings because she does travel around a lot, which will be very fun for us to have her on the board for her perspective. Some photos of some of our staff. Currently, Tom and Ari are our two high school students that work at the 1912 Center. Lorian is our new PR and marketing individual who's working with us probably through the summer before she takes off to larger cities. We always seem to lose them to larger cities, you guys, when they can do fun things like PR and marketing. I didn't find any pictures of Allie and Aaron, which is terrible, and I'm going to rectify that situation, but the rest of our team from this past year, Aaron Burkall, Robbie Valier, who still works with us, Emma Prahl, who works with us when she's back from American University in Washington, D.C. on vacation. She probably will join us again this summer, and Abby Cornett has left us for the East Coast to go do exciting things over there. So this past year, our major focus was the south side of the 1912 Center and getting all of the final windows restored in the facility. And so I have a quick slideshow to get through because I wanted to make sure there were lots of pictures and less talking. So April 13th, we started replacing the windows on the south side of the facility that faces 3rd Street. And so you can see the two windows that are popped out here, the very first two. And they were working, and then they took a lunch break, and I liked this picture of the windows out and the guys sitting there eating their lunch on that day, but they worked really hard, and that week we had, I think, over 10 windows, and it looks like we had more than that on each floor. The scaffolding was a regular part of the scenery on the exterior through April and May on the plaza, and then when they were done putting the windows in, they did all the tuck pointing and repair around the windows and went to the top cornice, which is this part that's now white along the top of the facility. It's a metal piece that's on the exterior, and so it needed to be sealed so that it doesn't rust. There they are working from a distance on April 19th. And then all 20 in the center, all those windows are in, and they're working on all of the tuck pointing there in May. Then this is May 11th. They were over the east entryway, so we were blocked off from access, and we were using the west entrance to get in and out of the facility while they were doing that for safety. And the building's looking kind of amazing with all of this white along the front of the facility. We weren't done over here, and they were working on that part over there. Then May 31st, they were finishing up the east side, the last 3 windows in the top cornice work and repair there. Then June 3rd, they went to the other side. The swing stage had to get completely moved. It was a major operation. It took them several hours to get that thing moved to the new location. So they did everything that they could in one spot for a while. And they finished the balustrade. This is the balustrade. I think, Walter, at one point you called it gingerbread, and we've always liked that term since. So it's our gingerbread on the building.
This isn't meant to be derogatory.
Well, no, it's not. We like it. We thought it was actually kind of appropriate, and now I would think I should challenge the Alternatives to Violence on the Palouse when they do their gingerbread house building competition to do a 1912 center with some proper gingerbread over the entryways. But the balustrade work was completed too, and then the exterior. This is almost done on June 3rd. They just had this portion over here to complete. And then on June 17th, those last 3 windows were put in. And now, look, you can see through the windows to the exterior. And this is kind of neat, too. You can see the skylights that are up in the roof through the windows in the upper part. So when you walk past the 1912 Center, be sure to look up because it's really neat to see those skylights. And we are taking people on tours through the facility anytime we have a public event. So when we have our plaza concerts this summer, we'll take people up on tours at the intermission, and we'll be taking people on tours again during the winter markets next season. So this is thanks to donors. All of those thank yous are made out of Post-it notes that I stuck in reverse on the windows, and it was very effective. A trick that I learned from the people in New York City that were having a Post-it note competition between 2 buildings, and they wrote notes to each other with Post-it notes. So it works. And the total cost for the project on the south side, with all the windows, tuck pointing, cornice restoration, and balustrade, was $193,536 paid. Ching! All done. Then, so to get into some of the fun programming that we did this year, Mixed Greens was our community art show, and so I have a lot of pictures of the fun pieces that were put into that show. It was anything that the artist could come up with on that theme, and it took place in May of 2016. And I even wore green, and so did my husband. He actually came into town for that, which was fun. And this fine piece here is by Celia Boland. Very nice work. She was in our art show. And then Plaza concerts. We had a lot of fun last summer with the Plaza concerts, and we'll be doing those again this summer. The Community Band of the Palouse was our first performance. Then we had Paradox in July, and then Henry C. and the Willards performed, and then Yellow Dog Flats finished out the season. They're on Mondays through the summer, and they're free and open to the public. And like I said, we'll be doing tours of the upper floors during those. Winter markets. We had 2 February and March of last year, and then we get into this fall, this past fall, November 5th and 12th, and December 3rd and 10th. They were very popular and very well attended, and lots of vendors. So it was a really great time. It had grown from the past. So I decided I should do this because I experience all of this, but maybe you don't get to come to everything that's at the 1912 Center, but there is a heck of a lot of stuff that's open to the public, free, and great times. The Enzo String Quartet in January was a partnership between us and the Auditorium Chamber Music Series, so we put the rugs out, and the musicians come and perform for kids and parents and anyone that wants to come to those. It's a really neat concert. There's my mom doing taxes with the AARP Tax Aid. That is something that we do every year, but this runs February through April, and you can get your taxes done for free. This was a Latah County Historical Society Brews and Barbecue event, and I wanted to put this into our slideshow because it was sunshiny April 9th, and everyone was sitting outside. So I thought that might encourage us to think positively about what's coming this spring. Washington, Idaho Symphony did their rehearsals last spring in the 1912 Center, and it was really fun to have that music. Every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., anyone that is a senior may participate in a free chair yoga session. That's every Tuesday. And just some other photos. Arboretum Association's annual meeting. The Blind and Diabetic Support Group meets in the Senior Center every Wednesday at 10:30. We have karate every Tuesday and Thursday in the 1912 Center, and it's an open practice. And so if you'd like to come practice karate, you can join them for a fee. Then different uses of our spaces. The Arts Workshop space held an ROTC Awards dinner that was catered and very beautiful. There was a free CPR class that Keep the Beat Moscow hosted, and we sponsored the space, and a lot of people got trained in CPR in one session. It was really pretty amazing. Troy Genesee Prom, I bet those kids are probably like, why are you showing these pictures of us? But they have their prom coming this spring too. The Watercolor Association holds a number of different classes in the Arts Workshop space. There was a bridal fair in the building because several of the local places that hold bridal fairs canceled them last year, and there was a desire by all of the folks that work with the industry to have a space, so we gave them the great room. Palouse Fiber Festival was held last summer, and probably, I think they go every other summer, so it won't be this summer, but the following summer, but it's really neat to have them there for the whole weekend during Arts Walk. Art Walk. Lots of weddings, lots of different takes on the room, but the popular colors, magically, these were different weddings. It was burlap was in last season, just so you know, and coming up this season, I don't know what the colors are going to be, but red, black, and white are starting to show up a bunch. Birthday parties, the library had their summer reading program celebration in August. We had a women's conference and a Buy Local Moscow Eat Local event where all the food was locally produced, and so was the beer from Hunga Dunga. Alternative Giving Market in December is a great way to connect with all the different nonprofits, and they held their event in the Great Room space. So I just wanted to give you a flavor of all the different things that come through the building. Art shows, we hosted several during the course of the year. Art Walk, we had an artist that had never shown her work before, Mary Neal Holden, so we called her show debut. And then What Does Water Mean to You? You'll see a very familiar face or two or three here. Those were the guest judges for the kids' art competition that focused on the theme of water, which was appropriate for the year of the Smithsonian exhibit. So that was fun too. And we also hosted a sync work party with the students serving your new community, the first-year students up at the University of Idaho coming, and it was neat because Mary Beth Stabin was actually able to come with the crew and help work at the facility. Part of how I was able to recruit her to join our board, because she actually has pulled weeds at the 1912 Center. Come on, that's a really good thing. So I would happily answer any questions that you could possibly have about the facility, because I hang out there a whole lot. And
You've done a good job for 10 years, Jenny. So.
Thank you.
And your enthusiasm shows from when the building first started and the work and the different things that you've done over the years. It's been marvelous what the Arts Commission has done, and spearheading that.
Thank you. I was telling Dwight at the back of the room before the meeting started tonight that I looked back at the numbers. In 2006, the Great Room was the only space that was available to be used, and there were some months where there were only 5 events for an entire month in the Great Room, 5 total events, and that included anything like weddings and all that stuff. And then now I can have 5 events in one night. So the Arts Workshop, the Fisk Room, the Senior Center, Friendship Hall, and the Great Room in use at the same time. So we've grown.
Oh, yes. Awesome job. John?
Well, I'd just like to comment. Number one, you've done a wonderful job over the years. You've turned that building into what it is, and you've raised a tremendous amount of funds. The things that it's used for in the community are never ending. And to give a little bit of props to the Moscow High class of 1965, we purchased one, and we purchased 2 of those windows.
Yep.
Because when I went to high school in Moscow, I had classes in that building. Also had a friend of mine fall through the ceiling in the gym. It was kind of an experience, one that we all enjoyed.
Children.
And anyway, we were glad to do it. The members of our class that lived here in town and the members that came in for the high school reunions were fully in support of making some of our class money a donation to not one but two of the windows. And I think that it has been a wonderful thing for the city of Moscow. Took a little while to get it going, but you've done that.
We're working on it.
Congratulations and thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Walter?
And every year, I'm very happy to be complimentary of Heart of the Arts and Jenny. I don't know how you keep your energy up, but what's next?
So what's next? This summer, we're working with the city to do the roof replacement project because the roof's at the end of its life. It's not leaky, just in case you know. It's not leaky because I keep it not leaky, just so you all know that. But it's at the end of its life, and so it's time for a new roof. So that project hopefully will happen this year. And then we're working on the monument sign for the corner of the property, so it says 1912 Center, so that people know they're in the right place, especially those that have come from out of town, because we have a lot of out-of-town visitors to the facility. And in the meantime, we're working to fundraise $500,000 a year for the next 3 years, so that we can go into construction on the next floor up, with the plan that in the 4th year, we will be in construction for the whole 2nd floor of the facility. And so next year, I will give you a full picture of all those spaces and where we're at in that progress. But we've sort of taken a split it up over the years approach. If we happen to have a donor that comes in with a larger amount of money earlier, we'll definitely move the timetable forward, but the plan is that on the 4th year, we build. 3 years of fundraising and 1 year of fun.
It'll be exciting to see the report next year, Jenny, when you do it. And, you know, over these 10 years, this lady has been the most enthusiastic person consistently for 10 years, not just once in a while, but for 10 years running that I've ever been around in my life. And it shows in what you're getting accomplished there, Jenny, so congratulations.
It's the one thing I can talk about with great certainty, so I always am really pretty grateful for that.
Well, I always look forward to this report,
Well,
so.
thank you.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure.
Good job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jenny, out.